Valley News Live. First with the weather app. First with the news app. And now, get the Valley's first iPad app for news. Get the iPad app free. Get the news first. Search for Valley News Live in the App Store now. On TV, online, on the go, always on.
We're on 6:30 Point of View with you now on our Super Tuesday Super Team. Just look at them all. Robert Hahn, Phil Harmison, Joel Heidkamp, and AM 1100 host Chris Berg. He's joining us live now. Chris, you talked to Ron Paul this afternoon. What do you have for us?
Stephanie, it's absolutely crazy here. I got here early. It's packed house, just people everywhere. It's a mob scene. Ron Paul's about to speak any moment. He'll be coming up. There are some essentially surrogates for some other candidates that are speaking right now. Did have a chance to sit down with Congressman Paul for a few minutes. First question I asked him is, hey, why are you back in North Dakota for the third time in such a short amount of time?
419 of those.
Short amount of time.
It's a friendly state, and they seem to enjoy what I'm saying, and I'm delighted to be back because they're very interested in limited government, self-reliance, independence. They have a good economy here, and I think it's a reflection of the type of people that are here. But the receptions have always been good, and the system, you know, the caucus system lends itself to what we're doing. So we've been very pleased, and we're always excited about the reception we get.
Talk to us more about that caucus system. I heard recently about your delegate strategy. I know in Clay County, the county next door to here, you got about 16 out of the 19 delegates. Is that strategy the same as Barack Obama's in 2008? He focused on the caucus states. Are you copying that strategy?
Well, maybe we are, but I read that in the newspaper that it was similar, so maybe it is. But as far as I'm concerned, maybe somebody on the staff was available, knowledgeable about that. But it lends itself to you. It's just using your common sense about it. If the name of the game is getting delegates, that's what you direct yourself to. Now, if you can't compete in a state like Florida because winner takes all, and you don't have $100 million and a lot of money to pass on, we can't compete. So there's the democratic process is fairer in a state like North Dakota, and that's why we have gone to those states, and quite frankly, we've been doing quite well. Even the states, the question they keep asking, well, you haven't won a state, you haven't done this, but they don't know that to be true yet because the process hasn't ended yet. You know, you have to wait and see how these delegates come out. And there are some other states where we were very close to winning. We think we're ahead on the delegate count, but we might not know that for another month or two.
If you don't win any more states tonight, do you continue to go on to Tampa?
Oh, I think so, because we know we're going to win a lot of delegates. And we're hopeful we're going to, win a state or two tonight, so we're going to continue.
So with that being said, let's say we get to Tampa, it's a brokered convention, you've got a lot of delegates to work with. What's your outcome? What's your strategy?
We haven't thought that far yet. We're still waiting to see how the votes come out. No, we really haven't. All kinds of conspiracy theories are out there that we're doing that. But the truth is we're just working real hard to get delegates, and what we do is going to have to be decided at that time. But first thing is, if we want to see how many votes we're going to get and how many delegates we have.
Rick Santorum at the last debate said that you and Mitt Romney have got a handshake deal. True or false?
That sounds like he's into conspiracies. You got to be careful with these people in conspiracies. No, it's not true. But we are more cordial. And I recognize that. We at least talk to each other. And that to me, why should that be some type of conspiracy? But when it comes down to it, I've put negative ads out, negative in the sense that we show what his positions have been. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to run against the other three, philosophically speaking, because they don't talk about stopping the wars. They also want to increase the wars. They don't talk about doing something with the Federal Reserve, which I consider very important for the economy. They don't talk about civil liberties, and I'm very interested in civil liberties, personal privacy, and therefore I'm no more opposed or friends with any one of them. But there is no doubt that when we've known each other for a good while, and I wouldn't say, I would say that we're friends, but we're friendly competitors.
Let's talk about this. One of the issues, the biggest driver right now in our nation's debt is Medicare and Medicaid. You're a doctor. How do you reform those two programs to decrease costs and really improve outcomes?
You need a lot more competition. There's no competition in medicine. It's run by government. So when you have reforms in Washington, whether it's what the Republicans did with, the prescription drug program or what Obamacare is, the people who get in the middle between the doctor and the patient are the insurance companies and the drug companies and health management companies. They're all in there to get their take on it. Where I was raised in medicine and practiced medicine for a while, where it was strictly the doctor and patient, relationship. And that's what we've destroyed. If it's a doctor-patient relationship, usually we look the patient in the eye. If they can't afford things, the doctors didn't gouge them. And I always said before, you always charge the patient the least. Today, because there's third-party payment in government, you always get charged the most. And you see this, the bills are milked. And then there's the inflation that's built in to medicine, because when governments debase their currency, the prices go up in certain areas more than others. And because they're involved in medicine, these prices go up. So inflation is much greater in medicine. And you can't solve that problem without looking at the monetary system. So, if a person looks at this and wants reform, they should look at protecting the doctor-patient relationship and increasing competition, not decreasing competition.
Last question for you. I believe you're 76 years old. You've been doing this now for quite some time. What keeps Dr. Paul awake at night?
Nothing. I sleep
There's
well.
no issues? I mean, Iran getting a nuclear bomb, or anything that makes you go, you know what? That's what's
No, I sleep quite well, but I've learned how to do that delivering babies. I had to lie down and go to bed, get sleep, then get up and deliver a baby and whatever. Oh, well, if you put it a little bit differently, what do I get concerned about? What I get concerned about is really the fundamental is the loss of personal liberty. Believing that if you have your liberty, you have free markets and private property rights. And if you have your liberty and truly understand it, you don't tell other people how to live. But the country doesn't tell other countries how to live. You don't occupy and invade countries. So understanding that, I think, is the road to peace and prosperity. That's what keeps me going, and that's what energizes me. And it really energizes me when I go to a college campus and the young people are delighted to hear the message.
Now we are going to go back out to the Ramada Plaza Suites. Ron Paul is speaking, or he is set to speak very soon. We're going to go out there and see if he is, in fact, out there speaking, and we are going to just go a couple minutes and listen to what he has to say. Take a listen.
This, and this is the reason that the message of liberty actually brings people together, because individuals see that the parties aren't doing a very good job. You're like one party to cut the spending, they raise the debt and the spending as well. Another party is supposed to do the job, they go in and nothing changes. So if you look at the candidates today, there is very little difference except for one. The rest of the candidates support the status quo. Foreign policies never change. Monetary policy doesn't change. There's no challenge to the Federal Reserve System. And most of all, there's no desire to protect personal liberty, personal privacy, protect us from the intrusiveness of the federal government, to protect your right to use the internet. These are the kind of things that are so important to so many people, and unfortunately that is not offered. I believe it is the offering up of a program that emphasizes personal liberty, the Constitution, sound monetary policy, and a sensible foreign policy is the reason the momentum is building and the reason why we're getting such a great reception here in North Dakota.
A lot of support out there at the Ramada Plaza in Fargo. I know after the break, we're going to be back with more on the Republican caucuses, including Joel Heitkamp with his take on the candidates, the caucus, and what's ahead. Stay with us.